All right, the first thing we did was analyze the audience. The second step in the speech writing process is setting the objectives and choosing a topic. Actually, I should change that around. Number 2 is the topic. Number 3 is setting the objectives. So the first thing you have to do is come up with your topic, and you come up with your topic based on who your audience is. And what they expect to hear and what they came here for, that type of thing. In our case, we've all gotten topics that would be of interest to this audience. So let's take a topic for an example. Let's say fish tanks. Okay, so the first thing we do is we set up our objectives to get ready to write the speech. Now this just prepares us to write the speech outline, and then once we get the outline, we'll take out notes out of it and have the speech. So remember, the objectives are not your speech, they're not in the speech, the outline's not your speech is your speech. All right, so let's do the first thing. We pick a topic, and I like to call this front matter. Now, I don't know why I call it front matter. I heard a teacher call it front matter at one time when I was in school, way back when, and for some reason I've always kept it that. It was a technical writing class, but it works out. He called front matter, that's what prepares you for writing a report. I call it front matter because it prepares us for writing our speech outline. All right, so the first thing we pick is topic. So we put up here topic, and we'll put fish tanks. Okay, so we're going to inform the audience on fish tanks. The second thing we do, or the third thing, so remember, audience analysis, topic. Now the third thing is setting the objectives of the speech. So we know where we're going. We have to have a plan. It's like a roadmap. You need to go to on vacation. You can't just say I'm going on vacation and then go out to your car and drive away, right? So what you have to do is I'm going to Portland, Oregon, or I'm going to Spokane, Washington, or I'm going to Disneyland, and then you set out how to go about doing that. So that's what we're doing here. So then we have our general purpose. Okay, you'll see this in the textbook, but this will help out being explained to you too. The general purpose, you only have 3 choices. It's in our speeches we're learning here are to inform, to persuade, or to entertain. To inform, to persuade, or to entertain. So the one we're going to do here is the first one is called to inform. So that's all we write here, nothing else. To inform. All right, that's it. And then we move on to the other speeches, we'll write those as the general purpose. So now what we know is we're using a different style. So we use one style or model to inform, and we use different models to persuade. All right, now we have specific purpose. Okay, this is what you want the audience to be able to know, do, or understand after your speech. So in other words, what's your goal? What do you want the audience to be able to know? What do you want them to be able to do? What do you want them to be able to understand? What do you want them to be able to list? What do you want them to identify? All those things are stated in this specific purpose here. But you can only have one. You can't have 3. For instance, if you want to go to New York, Philadelphia, and Washington, D.C., you can't go to all 3 of them at once. You can only go to one. So once you get to one, then you have a new specific purpose. Okay, so just one thing. So after listening to my speech, the audience will be able to what? What's our goal? We have fish tanks, to be able to maintain a fish tank, to buy a fish tank, to set up a fish tank, to clean a fish tank, to know how to buy fish for a fish tank. So what is our goal that we want to do? So let's just say we want to have the audience maintain a fish tank. So we've used this language now. So in your outline, use this language, or your front matter. After listening to my speech, the audience will be able to maintain a fish tank. Okay? So that's what we put. We have one thing that we want to do. It's not maintain and buy fish for a fish tank. It's not set up and maintain a fish tank, just to maintain a fish tank. This narrows the scope of your message to the audience, right? So it makes it easier for us to write a thesis or a main idea. Now, I could have put up here, just to give you another example, I could have put something up here called Starbucks. So my topic would be Starbucks. My general purpose would be to inform. My specific purpose is, after listening to my speech, the audience will be able to purchase Starbucks coffee using a smartphone. All right, so if I wanted to inform you how to use an app, that's how I do it. But one specific thing, I didn't say buy food or buy other things at Starbucks. I said they'll be able to buy coffee using their smartphone. All right, so this is the same thing. So we have one specific purpose. Make sure one thing, you cannot use the words and, or, but, because, therefore, however, although, so that, any of those words, those are all connecting words that make a compound specific purpose. We want to just keep it to one thing. And then the last thing of our speech objectives is the thesis. All right, so we also know the thesis as a central idea, right? So that's the whole goal of a speech. The first thing you want to do is have one central idea, and your whole goal is simply to communicate that central idea to the audience. No other goal. That's it. Don't try to do anything else or go off track. You have one simple idea, and then you communicate that idea to the audience. All right, so for this case, after listening to my speech, the audience will be able to maintain a fish tank. So my central idea could be something very simple. It could be that knowing the right steps, anyone can set up a fish tank or maintain a fish tank. Or you can maintain a fish tank. Or you can take certain steps to maintain a fish tank. Any of those things would work. Whatever works for your topic, you can do it. So let's do it this way, is that anyone can properly maintain a fish tank. Fish tank, that's why, right? I was thinking Starbucks. Maintain a fish tank. I guess I was thinking Starbucks and fish tank at the same time. So anyway, that's the central idea. Now, the same thing. You can't use the words and, or, but, because, therefore, however, although, so that, therefore. I think I already said that part. But you can't use those complex words or those compounding words that make it a long sentence. You want one simple idea. Now, if you were writing, you could do it in an essay, of course. But however, oral communication is different than written communication. If somebody gets confused a little bit reading, what they do is they go back and reread. However, if they get a little confused while you're speaking to them, they can't go back and re-listen. So we've got to keep it simple, to the point, and then support it throughout.